to start. Funny. All right, we're just gonna head right on into. Okay, just gonna start that and.
This is Behind the Law with Justin Clark on ESPN 580 Orlando.
And welcome to Behind the Law with attorney Justin Clark. I'm Gary Cole, filling in for my friend Justin. I am not an attorney, don't even play one on TV, but I did play a sportscaster on TV for 25 years, 5 in Orlando at Channel 9, and also my 3 sons are all attorneys.
Oh.
So I guess that qualifies me. Does it not qualify me to host this show?
Absolutely, you're qualified.
Yeah.
3 attorneys?
3 attorneys.
How is that?
Expensive, number one for me, and I don't know how, everyone says, how did they become attorneys when you're so stupid? And I said, I don't know. I absolutely have no idea where they got the brains from.
Did your wife's genes carry the weight?
I don't know. I don't think so either, but I don't know. Maybe the mailman. Who knows how they got in, but it's unbelievable.
It happens.
One's in New York, one's in Columbia, South Carolina, and my daughter's an attorney in Charlotte.
Awesome.
So,
did they all practice the same type of law?
No, one does tax law, one works for communication, Viacom,
okay.
And the other's in the state of South Carolina.
You know, whatever. You know what? You're qualified.
Exactly.
You can fly this ship. And
this is going to be fun. You know, I thought Howard Stern was the king of all media. Justin Clark is officially the king of all media. I mean, what? The studio he has here in his office, he's on TV. He's on 5 days a week. And when is this guy not on TV except when he's on vacation?
On vacation, exactly. That's the beautiful thing about it. And you're right. A lot of people don't know we record in-house, whole studio in-house. You can't tell by looking at it, but we were transformed a back office into a studio at the request of the world's busiest man, and it's been working out for him.
That's awesome. And next segment, we're going to be talking with Holly Salmons, CEO of the Better Business Bureau here in Central Florida. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, there has never been a better time for the BBB than right now. I mean, there are so many scammers out there. Does your phone not ring 1,000 times a day with some idiot?
1,000 times a day.
It is absolutely unbelievable. I think there's a course out there online called Scamology. You can actually become that. Because
you can become a scammer.
And especially now, and we'll get into this, but like I said, I spent 25 years in broadcasting. Started out in 1981 in Savannah, Georgia.
All right.
Then went to Charleston, South Carolina, then to Charlotte, and then here to Orlando in 1998 for 5 years.
Okay.
And after 25 years, kind of got burned out. I believe got burned out of sports.
After 20 years?
Yeah,
is that all it's
almost 25 years.
Jeez.
Of, I mean, it was great. You know, what a life to go to a sporting event every day and get paid to do it. Although the first couple of jobs wasn't much, $225 a week in Savannah. So even back in 1981, even that was not a lot of money to survive.
But the trade-off is you're in Savannah. I mean,
Savannah was on TV every 5 days a week. It was fun, and again, I went to 5 Super Bowls, went to the World Series, Daytona 500s 18 times. I mean, it was great. But then finally in 2002, it said it's time to get a real job, time to do something real, and stop working till midnight every single day of the week.
Yeah, we have lawyers to raise, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So then we opened a real estate company. In fact, the story is, after TV, I started doing some sports radio.
Okay.
And I was with my friend Lee Goldberg, who was a sportscaster at Channel 6.
We've heard of him.
And he also kind of got out of the TV business, kind of got tired of it as well. And so he was working at Florida Hospital. And he claims he was a fundraiser. I claim he was changing bedpans. But whatever, he calls me one day and he goes, hey, how does this real estate thing work? You're starting real estate. I said, well, it's going pretty good right now. This is when the market was just going crazy. You guys remember in 2000 and roughly about 2005, I mean, I got out of TV and I got the real estate license. And I got a job with a developer that was building condos nearest all over. He was doing a show on actually another ESPN station, and I was doing a show during the day. He was off one day. He was supposed to do an event at the Orlando Regional Realtor Association.
Look at that.
Well, he had to go to, he was doing ABC football, and he had to be in New York, couldn't make it in time. So we fill in for him at this event, and we had a trivia contest. Somebody wins 2 tickets to the Gator game against Florida State. So the guy that won it was talking to me, and he goes, what do you do? I said, well, I got a real estate license now, and I'm starting out in real estate. And he goes, well, I got a big development going on, and it's over near Disney. Do you want to work there and maybe sell some condos? Well, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
And this is when it's just about to take off. Things are just ready to start happening.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you, I was working 1 day a week. And this is when the boom hit, and people were coming in. This is mostly being near Disney. It's a lot of foreign investors, a lot of people that want it for second homes and investment property.
That's right.
People were literally throwing money at us.
Yeah.
And one guy from China came in with literally $100,000 in cash in a suitcase, wanted to reserve cash. I said, "Wait a second,
Hold on.
Yeah, go get some cashier's checks. Cannot take any cash."
Yeah, this is.
We had so many of these things lined up. And at the end of the day, a number did get built, but the majority of them did not, because everything tanked.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there thinking, wow. I remember looking at the spreadsheet one day with my wife. We're flying to Milwaukee, where I'm from.
Jeez.
But I stuck with it, got Lee in with me
Yeah.
into real estate, and we opened a small office downtown. It's called GCI Realty. I got a broker's license.
That's right.
Got a few agents lined up. We ended up, the office we had ended up getting sold to a dance studio. And I'm not sure what kind of dance studio it was, because they were going to use our office and put a pole in there. Wow. So I'm going, okay, I guess we got to move out.
Wow.
So we moved with Remax, worked there 3 years, and we just a year ago opened our own office, Revolution Realty. We now have 2 offices, one in Claremont, one in Orlando. And the market right now is absolutely booming. I mean, incredible what's going on in real estate today.
I'm hearing about it.
How long will it continue? I don't know.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm tagging people on Facebook.
But that's pretty much the story. Great to be here. Great to be sitting in for Justin.
Yeah, no, we're really happy to have you. And honestly, you do sound qualified. I definitely shouldn't even be. What am I doing? I think we have the wrong seat here. We gotta get you over here with the better mic.
That mic's fine.
Oh yeah, it's a go. And I know Justin's already going to complain about the. I mess with his mic. Anytime I sit down in this chair, he complains that the mic is messed up. But we definitely miss Justin, and we got a couple minutes left. You want to talk about some news?
Let's go. What you got?
Yeah. So okay, the Pro Bowl's been here 3 times. It's coming back for a 4th.
Yeah, it's probably coming back because nobody else wants the Pro Bowl, to be honest with you. These other cities can't get it. The other cities have it. They can't draw flies. It's great for Orlando, though, and I'll tell you why. Orlando, if you stop 10 people on the street and all the tourists and say, what is your favorite football team, you're going to get 10 different answers.
That's right.
So now when all these tourists are here and they can come and see their favorite superstar players and go to the events that they have and they go to the skills contest, it is an absolute no-brainer to have it in Orlando. The first year was huge. They sold out.
Massive.
And then the next year, I think they had rain, and then one year they couldn't tell, they changed the starting time, so they kind of screwed it up a little for the city.
Yeah.
But still had great crowds.
Last year was
and
kind of a cluster.
It is absolutely, it needs to be here permanently. And I'm glad it's coming back. I'm glad it's coming back.
Same, absolutely same. And I know you were talking Ventures down there as a 3rd theme park of the Universal Orlando Resort. It's the first brand new theme park in Orlando in more than 20 years. So we're pretty excited for that. It's going to be, I think, child themed. So they're looking at having how to raise your dragon or how to train your dragon. And the, let's see, I think it's the... Oh, there it is. The Harry Potter, I guess the addition to the Harry Potter world is going to be out there because they already have Diagon Alley and the Wizarding World over at Universal Studios. So they're going to add some things over at the new park for that.
I tell you, the stuff that has gone up now between Universal and Disney, it's kind of like a big war between the two going at it to see who can come up with the better stuff. Then you got SeaWorld, you got the big Eye and the new roller coaster they're putting down there. And we were talking about this before. When I was at Channel 9, and this was... it's like 18 years. Hard to believe it's been that long since I was there. But we used to be able to get free passes anytime we wanted passes to Disney, to Universal, to SeaWorld. You call them up, hey, can we get in there? So every weekend I'm taking the kids to all the theme parks. And I got so burned out. I haven't seen a theme park now in 5-6 years.
Wow.
It's just, I've been there so many times.
5-6 years is massive because at this point now, they don't even look the same. Like, you go to Disney now after not going to Disney for 5 years, and Holly's nodding. She knows it is not the same Disney World. No.
But I'm telling you, it is the stuff they have there is amazing. I was telling you a story before we went on the air. They used to have a place on I-Drive, maybe you remember this, called The Skull. I don't know who remembers seeing this. You drive by, you see it from the freeway, and it's like a haunted house. And every time we go by, the kids are probably 7, 8, 9, and 10, and they're banging on my back, skull, 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 go to the Skull. So we're not going to the Skull, we go to the theme parks every week. So finally, one time we decided we're going to go to the Skull. We go there. It's like $25 a piece to get in.
Yeah.
You walk through some dark rooms for 5 minutes, and you end up in a gift shop, and they charge you for all this stuff. This is going to be the biggest ripoff of all time. I'm saying, thank God now Disney and Universal are just kind of taking over the whole area, so we know there's quality stuff.
Absolutely.
Which, speaking of ripoffs, we'll be talking about a lot of that when we talk BBB in a little while, too.
That's right. Perfect segue. All right. We will be right back after this short break. Crushing pizza. Do you? Where in I Drive was that at?
It was kind of like next to right
near the Walgreens there.
Yeah, it was by Wet and Wild, and right by the. You can always see it was like a huge black, like look at a little haunted, like a little castle, like a
Yeah.
haunted castle.
Money into the actual skull and not on.
Yeah,
in the
you
inside.
walk in there, you go in, and everything is just pitch black, and a couple guys jump out at you, kind of like a low-grade Halloween horror night. And next thing I know, I'm walking into a gift shop. I go, that was it for 10 minutes? I said, okay, that was.
A lot of pre-programmed sounds and smoke and light.
For $25 a person, you should have told.
And you walk right in, it's done. So it was like 10, 15 minutes, and it was like nothing.
That sounds terrible.
$25 a head.
No wonder
You're
why it
going to
closed
stay
up.
here and you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's
We're
right.
going through this thing
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
Turn around,
Yeah.
kids.
You
We're
enjoy
going,
this.
we're going back in there. We're going
Remember this
back.
the next time you demand to go to something and Dad says
Yeah.
no, right?
Yeah.
Right. Daddy knows
Remember the
best.
skull, son.
Remember the skull.
Yeah.
Get that on a t-shirt. All right, we're going to dive back in. You're going to be able to hear yourself when you talk this time, Holly, because your mic is hot.
Yep.
And here we go. Nope. Let's try.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
And we're back. I'm Gary Cole, filling in for my friend, attorney Justin Clark.
That's right.
Time now to talk a little, I like to call it scamology. And I got to tell you something. It is great to have with us from the Better Business Bureau, the CEO, Holly Sammons. And, I've been around a long time, so I know the Better Business Bureau. And I'll never, growing up, it was always, if there's a problem, you're going to get reported to the Better Business Bureau.
That's right.
And now, though, there's so many sites on the internet that some people forget about the Better Business Bureau. And most of these sites, I can't tell if they're phony or not. It's kind of like a movie review. You go to a movie and you see 8 million people love this movie, and you go to it and it's terrible. And you figure out how many people are they paying, how many bots, as they say now in Mongolia or whatever, are just saying how great this movie is. So that's why the BBB is so big right now. But give us an idea of what's going on.
Well, let me tell you, speaking of reviews, we'll start there. We'll tell you a little bit about how BBB is different in the review space. I know a lot of us as consumers, whether it be shopping online, Amazon, you're reading the reviews and things. You go to different platforms trying to decide on where you're going to go eat, whatever. You read these reviews and you're wondering, is anyone vetting these? And so before Better Business Bureau got into the review space, we decided we really had to make sure that we could do it our way. And so our customer review process is different in that the business has the opportunity, you can appreciate as a business owner, that if someone files a customer review about your business, you get a first look at it and you have the opportunity to say, yes, this is my customer, or no, this is not my customer. And if that bounces back to us with the company's rejecting it, we go back to the consumer and basically say, we're going to need you to provide some substantiation. So our customer review process is a more labor-intensive, vetted process. So we take very seriously the fact that consumers come to BBB as a resource for that type of information.
And also on your website, you have a list of some of the more popular places to search: plumbers, electricians, roofers, and you give them a grade. Yep. On the site. How do they get that grade then? How is that set up?
So that's a great question. Here in Central Florida, we report, the reports that we hold are businesses that are located here physically. So, and that's the way for BBBs all across North America. So if you're looking at a company based in San Francisco, it's going to be handled by the BBB out there. So BBB is still very much a part of their local communities. And so we hold those reports. And if your report is here in Central Florida, we look at how big is the business, how long has the business been in operation, is the business business required to have a license? And if so, are they properly licensed? We look at, is there a pattern of complaints that has developed with the business? What previous businesses or what type of criminal activity or charges and things have the principals been involved in, things like that. All these things are factored into basically a mathematical algorithm, and then it spits out a rating. It's certainly not something that is subjective for staff. It's very much an algorithm-based rating.
Okay. And now, how do businesses that want, can they join the BBB? How does that get set up?
So businesses can certainly become accredited businesses. Back in the day, it was a membership. 2007, I think, we changed from membership to accreditation because we wanted to make sure that consumers understood that it wasn't just like a gym membership you pay to be included. It's really a vetting process and then re-vetting every year. So again, just like I said before, as to what goes into the rating, we're looking at what type of business have you been in the past? How did that go down? We look at, let's say, for example, for roofers. Right now, one of the hot topics in roofing is AOBs, Assignment of Benefits. The Florida Department of Financial Services is working on or has recently passed some legislation that determines whether or not contractors can have you, the consumer, sign an AOB as a part of the kind of initial process and what the roles and responsibilities are for that. So, we may ask for contracts. We may ask for different things because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that any business that we approve to become an accredited business is a business that we feel confident in applying our logo to them and the business they do and feel confident in that. We want to make sure that consumers know that this is a business they can trust, and if they see that logo, we want to make sure that continues to mean something. We revoke businesses on a bi-monthly basis when the board meets. If companies fail to continue to meet those standards, they're not going to stay. And so it's certainly not just about dues. Believe me, I've got a list as long as my arm and yours together of businesses who, if it was just about paying the money, would have the cash today. But it's all about do you meet the standards and do you uphold BBB's mission? Because that's what consumers respect. And so we have to continue to invest in that.
Yeah, very important. And that's, we with Revolution Realty, we have about 120 properties we manage. And we've helped out a lot of these owners, and most of these are foreign. They don't live in Orlando. They have investment properties, and they used to try to manage it themselves. And all of a sudden, the tenant calls at 2 a.m. and says the AC's out. The guy goes on the internet, sends someone out, and next thing you know, he's getting taken advantage of like crazy.
Right.
You don't know how many. And some of these things between plumbers, electricians, AC guys. I mean, the average person doesn't even. If an AC guy goes out there, and for example, they'll say the capacitor is out. Well, most these owners will think that's a big part. It's $5 part.
Right.
End of the day, someone's charging them $500 to do nothing. I'm going to give you an example. I have one of the owners calls me up and goes, "Hey, I need to get the AC checked." And I said, "Yeah, let me give you somebody." "Well, I got a coupon here. I'm sending somebody out for $50. I said, "I don't recommend that. Go ahead." Guy goes out there, $50, and then she goes, "Oh, the guy went out there said I need $2,000 worth of work." Of
course
I said, "The house is 4 years old. I doubt you need $2,000 worth of work. Let me send my guy out this time, okay?" Absolutely nothing wrong with the system at all. And that's why I told the guy, listen, you call those people up, you tell them you're going to call the Better Business Bureau, and you want your $50 refunded, which they did right away. But it's just unbelievable that, as we talked before, so many scammers out there that are trying to get away with things right now.
Yeah, and especially when you're dealing with your home, which is most of our top investment, you want to make sure that you do your homework. We recently worked with one of the local news stations on our hurricane prep kit. And part of that is, as a homeowner, you need to do your research now so that if there were to be a storm or if you were to come home and, God forbid, a pipe is broken and you've got a flood in the living room, before the crisis strikes and before you're panicked, do your research to determine what's my short list of plumbers that I've researched and I feel comfortable with. Who's my contractor? Who's my water removal guy? What electrician am I going to use? Things like that. because you want to make sure that when the AC is out and it's 90 degrees in your house, and you have a an elderly parent living with you, or a newborn baby at home, whatever it is, and none of us like to be hot, but it never seems to fail that people end up in a crisis, and then they make snap decisions, or they make decisions based on a coupon, and end up with someone that they've never done research on, and you can really pay through the nose for those decisions.
And another thing I tell some of them, especially with the AC people, when you need AC, when you call this AC company to come out, number one, ask them what they charge for Freon. Here's a major scam right here, where by the time they get out and say what you need, it's too late. They're already there. They're going to charge you a service call. I have a property in Tallahassee. I bought when my daughter went to Florida State. And I thought it was a great deal because all of a sudden in Tallahassee, a brand new condo, it was a townhouse for $140,000. I'm going, hey, you get a couple of roommates, you live here. That same thing in Orlando at the same time would have been $300,000. I'm going, this has got to be a great deal. Well, everything tanks. Now stuff is coming back, except that condo that I have. That was worth $80,000. I mean, so meanwhile I have a tenant in there. But anyway, I have a guy managing it for me, and an AC person goes out, and they come back and they call me up, and they say, oh, I needed 5 pounds of Freon. That's $500. I say, do I sound like an idiot to you? What do you mean $500? That Freon cost you $10. Yeah. Most people here charge between $30 and maybe $40 if they're not crooks. And so they just wrote that off. They didn't even,
you have to know when you're standing, number one, when it's 85, 90 degrees in your house or in your condo, and you're miserable, when the repair person is standing out at your property and they've got the Freon ready to go, you're not in your right mind. As in this case, you were the landlord, but that's why it pays to do your homework before you get into a situation where you've kind of lost your mind.
Yeah. And real quick, we have about 30 seconds in this segment. What's the website? How do they get up and get in touch with the Better Business Bureau?
Very easily. BBB.org. We're there for you 24/7. You can also find us on Facebook. Just look for BBB Central Florida, and we're there for you. We also have an office here in Longwood.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right. We will be right back to play Stump the Clarkie. So get ready for a little bit of trivia right here on Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Sweet BBB Central Florida. I was having a hard time finding you on Facebook. All of them popped up. I'm like, Dallas.
Yeah.
Chicago.
And I got you going on every channel I have. So.
I love it. Perfect. Okay. Let's switch it up.
Even on Drive Time.
All right.
Why not, right?
Why not?
They miss you.
Bring the band back. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Bring the band.
Let me change this really quick.
What was the co-host's name? Has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Mics are hot.
Yeah.
Still? Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know. I don't know if you want
All
that
good news.
said.
All
Okay.
good news.
Great. So that's funny. Okay. Let me just change this from BBB USA to BBB. Found you. Haha. Done. Okay. Are we ready for segment number 3 and some trivia?
Sure.
Okay. All right, we're going to reset this. All right. I'm going to grab. You want to introduce trivia, Gary?
Sure.
All right. There's a. You'll hear it.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
And we are back. I'm Gary Cole, filling in for my friend Justin Clark. It's Behind the Law on ESPN Orlando 580. My favorite part, I hear this all the time on the radio. Stump the Clarkie, an honor to be able to take part in this segment. Is it true, though, that the top prize is still $10,000?
That's why I'm here.
That word on the street.
I thought that was what Justin said. Don't forget if you win trivia.
If you win
All right,
trivia, you get $10,000.
all the little bottled waters you can carry.
Yeah.
That's what the real all the ones you get, like half a case, Holly. You can get that. But yeah, we're getting ready. You guys ready to play Stump the Clarkie?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, and now it's time for Stop the Clarky. Come on, Clarky. We need you to get over here. We got some great trivia questions we want you to answer. Come on, Clarky. Get over here.
Okay, so today's topic, obviously, is going to be about the Better Business Bureau.
Boy.
Yes. All the questions are going to be with a focus on the national brand, not just
right.
Central Florida. So that should help frame your answers. That's the only hint you're going to get. Okay. So you have your note cards in front of you. You have some pens. I'm going to ask 4 questions. You're going to write down the answers to those questions, and then we're going to go back and score it. So no pressure, but a little bit of pressure.
I think I'm at a major disadvantage here, but okay.
Miss CEO over there. We'll see.
Let's see.
So, question number 1. What percentage of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations? What percentage of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations? Yeah. You were kind of fast, Gary. Wasn't? Oh, okay.
He's pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure. I was reading up on this one today. No.
That's funny. Normally I'm looking over at Justin to see like what he writes down so I can gauge how much I'm going to heckle him. But I'm on this side of the table now, so I can't see what Gary just wrote down, but we'll figure it out. Question number 2. How many total inquiries were made to the BBB in 2018? How many
Nationally?
total inquiries were made in 2018? Yeah. Holly thinks the number's on the roof, so that's good.
I know my number.
Don't times it by 50.
No.
I've seen your number, and I've seen the big number too.
Let's see. All right. Got it.
Is this per state that we're adding up? Is each one?
Just nationally. Just the whole national number. All of them.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. And just this nation, because I know the Canada one was also on there.
Oh, okay? So it's not North
including
America. It's
Canada.
just the U.S.
Yes.
All right.
Just this nation.
Got it.
You write something down there, Gary?
I did. I'm going to change my answer though. Let's see. Oh no, I'll keep what I have.
Okay. Well, if you're tuning in, this is Stump the Clarky on Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Question number 3. What percentage of consumers read up to 10 reviews before trusting a business? What percentage of consumers read up to 10 reviews before trusting a business? That's a huge question.
It's a lot of reviews to read.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that too, Holly. This the Better Business Bureau versus, Google reviews too. So we're definitely going to hit that up in the next segment because
this music is intense.
It is. Are you sweating yet? It's like
kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire
Wow.
music.
a little bit. Yeah. I think it's like one of those. You ever been in those escape rooms?
Oh,
How they have the
no.
really intense. Yeah. It's just. I know it's supposed to help you think, but it just kind of it makes you.
The walls are closing in. Yeah.
How do I get out of here? Question number 4. How many complaints are handled by the Better Business Bureau annually? How many complaints are handled by the Better Business Bureau annually?
System-wide.
She probably just saw this number this morning,
No.
She's
Again, I know my number.
oh, man.
It's a lot of offices.
Yeah. It's gonna have them all.
How many offices do you think?
That's a good question.
This is all of North America. I'll give you that. All of North America.
Ooh.
Jeez.
Trivia within a trivia.
That's a trivia 4A right, 4B right here on this one.
This isn't for the $10,000.
I know.
Okay.
How many offices? I would have to.
How many offices? 1,800. Nationally?
North America.
North
U.S. and Canada.
No,
Yeah.
U.S. and Canada. Okay.
And there's one in every major city for the most part.
Is that true? Okay. Oh, no?
There's a BBB presence in all major areas.
So does that count as an office? So like in Florida, would there
No.
be an office in Orlando and Miami? That count
Or is
as
it the
offices?
Central Florida
How many
region office?
BBBs are there? Yeah.
Got it.
Regional offices.
2,800.
I would say
It's kind of low.
It's a round. It's a very even round number.
I would say 800.
100.
100. That's it.
100.
That's it?
Yeah, you got to consider that you have, for example, BBB in the Northwest covers all the way from the tip of Seattle all the way into Idaho.
Wow.
Okay.
They've got large masses of space. The BBB in Omaha, Nebraska has
Oh, that makes sense.
North and South
Yeah.
Dakota. They have large
Huh.
spanses of territory. They may have satellite offices here and there.
So their territories aren't
Yeah,
symmetrical, I guess.
I would
That's-
say 97% of what we provide to the marketplace, to our communities is online. So physical presence, while important, doesn't blanket the entire North America.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
You know? Wow. All right. You guys ready to score this game up?
Oh, I forgot. What was the last
Yeah.
question again? I forgot.
How many
I got
complaints?
oh yeah.
How many complaints are handled annually?
Okay.
To report Gary off his game.
I know. How many complaints are
It's like,
handled annually?
I don't know. It's like a hint, though. You have 100 offices.
That's
How many
right.
complaints per
Okay.
office?
That's
You
where
can
I
just
was going.
That's right.
That's
you
where I
know,
was going with that.
Look
yeah.
at that. Yeah, it's lifeline exactly.
I have no idea.
Want to phone a friend,
I
Gary?
guess.
I know.
It's funny. All right, let's go ahead and score this game, y'all. So we have question number 1: what percentage of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations? We'll start with Gary.
I'm going 20%.
20%. Okay, Holly.
I'm going 70%.
70%. All right. So the point's going to go to Holly. It's 80%.
80% trust online.
Reviews as much as personal recommendations.
Really?
Yeah. That's nuts.
There
That's
aren't,
nuts.
think about, you were talking about your customers for those vacation homes. They won't necessarily be able to depend on word of mouth when choosing, a vacation home rental or whatever. So they're going to have to rely on online reviews.
Oh, that's true. I was thinking more like if someone's going to ask me, do I recommend, Bob's Bar and Grill versus what it says online, they're probably going to go with what I say as far as something locally. But I guess when we talk about stuff that they don't have control over.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you got to think about too, how do millennials choose where they spend their money? If you are a snowbird and you've moved from the north to the south, you may not have the same network of people down here to ask for advice.
But you trust Yelp.
But you have the internet. Yeah. So.
But you-
That was leaning towards, like in real estate, for example, most people will get a realtor on a reference from someone they know, as opposed to looking online and just randomly select somebody and then having them
That's
do it.
true. Yeah, that's a very personal transaction. And two, just the sheer volume of the number of realtors. I think it's hard for people to, how do I pick? So I agree with you on that.
Sweet. Speaking of volume, question number 2 is how many total inquiries were made to the Better Business Bureau in 2018? Holly.
I said 5.5 million.
0.5 million. Okay.
I originally had 10 million.
And you have now.
I've changed it after we tried to figure out how many actual branches there are. I went down to 800,000.
Okay. I'm just no
So I'm
offense.
between 800,000 and 10 million right there.
I'm just that's for the both of you, okay? Because it's 160 million, guys. 160 million.
Yeah,
nationally.
that makes sense.
It's up
because-
there.
So that was the number of inquiries, right?
Yeah. So who you said
Yeah.
5 million? Okay.
I said 5.5.
Point goes to Holly.
Which wasn't, I'll be honest, what I was betting on there was that actually the number you found may have been my number. Our number here in Central Florida is 5.5 million. So
I originally had 10 million was my
I was on the
initial
national
answer.
website.
Okay.
Nope.
Should've kept that.
Oh yeah, I told you guys it was national numbers.
Should have stayed with my initial response.
You were getting up there. So question number 3, what percentage of consumers read up to 10 reviews before trusting a business?
I said 70%.
70%?
I said 30%.
30%? What do you have against these reviews, Gary?
10 reviews? I mean, that's a long time to sit there and go through a review.
Is it? It's 2 scrolls.
think.
2 swipes on a cell phone.
I usually go 4 or 5 tops.
We're going to go ahead and give the point to Holly. That is 88%. 88%. You said 70. So 3-0. There's no way you're winning now.
We could have done sports trivia today. Come on. You didn't tell me that coming in.
I feel like we could have done sports trivia at this point. Question number 4. How many complaints are handled by the Better Business Bureau annually? Come on, Gary.
I put 10,000.
10,000.
I said 1.4 million.
Am I over 4?
Yeah, it's 860,000. So we're gonna give that.
So I should have taken
Holly.
what I really wanted to do was my second answer where I had 10 million and changed to 800,000.
Yeah.
I meant 800,000 for the number
Should have
4.
flipped it. Yeah,
that's what I meant.
That's what should have happened. But you know what? You definitely you got skunked. That's okay. But you won this. You look fantastic.
I'll come back
yeah.
for a real estate trivia.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, and that $10,000 is still up for grabs, guys. So we'll be right back with another interview with Holly, and we're gonna help Gary lick his wounds clean on this one.
Okay, thank you so much for being with us today on Stop the Clocky. See you tomorrow.
Funny, oh man.
Like, I don't recall you, but they might, if you haven't mentioned what our service area really,
Okay.
the scope of it.
Okay.
'Cause you did go into like 100 BBBs, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm gonna send this to myself, and then let's land this plane, guys. Gary, what are we doing? Oh man, we're gonna have to re-record this segment and get you on the board at least somehow. This is not.
Well, like I said, sports or real estate, he'd have me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. For sure. At that point, we wouldn't do numbers. We just do
Right.
names and years. Like he would know, I'm sure.
Welcome to Gary Cole Trivia.
Absolutely. This is the Gary Cole Hour. All right. Are we ready to just land this? Perfect. Okay. Switch and.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
This show is flying by. Do they all go by this fast?
They do.
This is great.
Yeah, I didn't lie. When I said 4 10-minute segments, people think, oh, it's just 40 minutes. I'm like, no, it goes by so quick, guys, right before your eyes. But we're back.
I just feel bad. I totally embarrassed myself during that trivia. Like I said, that's why I couldn't get into law school. That's why 3 kids had to get in and I couldn't.
You got 3 lawyers.
Way to make the visitor feel good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All intentional.
Yes, yes.
I actually knew the answers coming in. She gave them to me before we
Yeah,
started.
right. You just, we should have did that. Now I'm thinking about it. Like, man, we gotta have Gary back on here to redeem what just happened there, man. But you said something interesting, Holly, during the trivia about just Google in relation to the Better Business Bureau and how that. So how do you stand apart when you have places like Google and Yelp and where all the millennials go? I mean, I don't have the app downloaded. That's not the first place I go for my reviews. How do you know?
So typically, it seems the way that we currently our user acquisition or how we get consumers onto our website typically would be someone searching. We'll use Googling it. Where this is concerned, roofing Orlando BBB. And that's how they end up on BBB's website, honestly, is, if they want to, for example, read the complaints and read the customer reviews. And really a lot of times what's even more telling, is how did the company respond to the complaints? How did they respond to the complaints? What was the tone of the response?
Right.
And same thing with customer reviews. Are the customer reviews positive? Are they negative? Does the company respond? Things like that. Of course, you also want to make sure that they're properly licensed. So it's not about, for us, it's not a popularity contest.
Right.
So you certainly can't have your friends and family come on and file a positive customer review, just like we're not going to accept a negative customer review from a scorned, ex-spouse or former employee. we want to make sure that the information we have there is, as clean as possible. We spend a lot of time and a lot of resources on data quality because we want to make sure that the information we're providing to the public is as useful and resourceful as possible.
How do you turn people down then? If someone wants to be on and you say no, how do you call them and say, hey, listen, you guys really are not too good?
Right. So, for example, we had someone apply in the last week their accreditation was revoked a year ago because they were facing criminal charges, and the criminal charges they were facing were very much related to the business they were in. So that's how they got revoked, right? Was not only what it does to BBB's reputation, of course, to have an accredited business who has that sort of legal criminal media attention on them. But then they were revoked, and then they've come back. They want to apply again. Well, only 3 of the 4 charges were dropped. So you still have a current pending criminal case against you, that's very much related to the business that you're in. We're not going to put our name on that. Same thing would go for licensing. Let's say you're in a business or in an industry that requires licensing, and you yourself lost your license a few years ago, and so you've brought on a qualifier. You've brought on, someone else to be your license holder. Well, so when we look at your license holder, they have left a trail of tears. They've left a trail of trouble behind them. It's a bad bet for us. And so we look at, your complaint response history. Have you been in this business before? Have you been in similar businesses? And what was that business history? So we really try to make sure that every company we approve for accreditation, we feel is not only, a quality, ethical, trustworthy business, but also is going to be a good steward of our name. And when they're driving around or out there in the marketplace doing business, that they're going to do right by the brand so that consumers continue to trust it.
And it's probably a smart idea for businesses to at least even try to apply, because if you guys turn them down, maybe they'll learn something and know what they can do to get better, rather than get out of business in 2 years and they've lost all their money starting up a business and didn't know why because everyone told them how great they were.
Yeah.
And they got an honest assessment of what the problem is.
You know what I wish more new business owners would do? If they came to us and said, at least took a look at what are the standards of accreditation? What are the things we look for in approving or considering a business for accreditation? Those would be an excellent checklist when starting your business or in the first couple of years of your business to make sure that you're laying a solid foundation, to make sure that you're checking all the boxes. Because let's say, for example, you've been in landscaping for 20 years working for someone else. You've been a general manager for someone else, and you decide, I'm going to strike off on my own, start my own business. Okay, you knew how to do the GM's job. You knew how to do the people management part of it, but did you know how to do all of the business of running the business? You may have known the practical side of it, but did you know how to run the business? Oftentimes, no. The answer is no. And so people will start a business, even though they've been in that industry for years, they didn't know how to lay a solid foundation, and they made some rookie mistakes. And sometimes those mistakes can be very costly and be, a headache for both the business and for consumers.
It's funny, you talked about getting on Google and that kind of thing. We get calls all the time from these companies. They'll always claim, hey, listen, for this amount of money, we can get your real estate company first page of Google.
Yeah.
And we have probably wasted thousands of dollars initially just being stupid and making no money off this whatsoever. And finally I go, how is it that they must call everybody, and everybody in the world is on the first page. That first page of Google has got to be so huge right now because apparently everybody is on it.
Jeez, yeah. That's so funny.
Were they offering to? They were offering to basically they were going to do a sponsored listing.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
so they're buying your way onto.
And we get zero, and we do absolutely nothing. We have generated zero off any of these internet sites, and finally we just stopped doing them. But,
one thing that
you got to call us. Maybe you're not doing it right. We got to talk, Gary.
I think so.
What we hear from a lot of business owners is, a lot of business owners now especially depending on the industry you're in, they may not be doing a website. Even if your business doesn't have a website, even if you don't have a social media presence, just to contact BBB and complete a business profile, it costs you nothing. You don't have to be accredited. We report on accredited and non-accredited businesses alike. We issue ratings on accredited businesses and non-accredited businesses. Some of the most, I think, valuable information we have is on businesses we wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. So, those D and F rated businesses that we really want to make sure consumers are aware of and know what to look out for, certainly are not accredited businesses, and we report on them. But when it comes down to having a web presence, you can contact Better Business Bureau and complete a business profile for your business. And because of our domain authority across North America and all of these, 100 BBBs, our reports rank very highly organically, and that costs you nothing.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, there it is. Look at that.
Yeah.
Good old SEO.
And in a case of free water, you're a winner.
And a case of free water.
Absolutely.
Can you get that in writing, Holly?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But that's we want to make sure that we are there for consumers before they make decisions. We talked in the trivia about how many complaints we process. We feel like there's job security, certainly in the complaint venue, but we would much rather educate consumers and help lead consumers towards trustworthy businesses so that they only have to spend the money once. Most of us only have the funds to do the thing once, only have the money to fix the bathroom once, only have the money to fix the AC once. And so if we choose someone that messes up the job or never shows up or whatever, we may not have the money to do it all over again. And so we would much rather help consumers through information before they make a decision than end up helping them on the complaint end of things, because then it's kind of too late. The money's been spent.
Yeah. So Holly, one more time, how do we get in touch with you?
So really easy. So for everyone listening or watching, bbb.org. You can also Google BBB or Better Business Bureau Scam Tracker. That's fun to do when you are just futzing around the internet. And then here in Central Florida, you can come. Certainly, you're welcome to come into our office in Longwood. That's our Central Florida physical location. But again, BBB Central Florida on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter, BBB CFL. But bbb.org is the primary spot for all things BBB across North America, no matter where the business is and no matter where you are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Great job. Gary, man, it's been fun.
It was.
We got to have you back on here.
Anytime.
Jeez.
Absolutely.
And how do people get a hold of you and Revolution Realty? We
Looking
need
to
to
buy
know.
or sell or rent, you can call us 407-223-6965. That's actually Lee's personal number. I always give his number out.
All
He will
right.
answer it directly. Everybody gets $1,000 back at closing, or if you're a hometown hero, police, fire, nurse, teacher, $2,000 back from the GCI guys, me and Lee, at closing.
Absolutely impressive. Thanks so much. We really enjoyed having you step in on the show, and we will see you all on a Monday edition of Behind the Law. So thanks so much for listening, and this is Brianna signing off on Behind the Law Radio, ESPN 580. All right. Smooth.